What is going on, everybody? I am your host, Slackerz, bringing you, another episode of Do They Have a Chance? So if you haven't seen this, think of this, it's pretty much a series where it's like a rate that character kind of series. So we're rating their chances for, a single character. In today's episode, it's going to be Cuphead. So we're going to rate their chances. I'm going to go over facts and, pros and cons, that sort of stuff, and then see if they have a chance to be, we're going to look at this legitimately. Do they have a chance to be DLC character in Smash? Well, let's find out about it. And again, I encourage you, go ahead, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. Leave your own percentage, because at the very end, I'll give my personal opinion about the character for whatever episode that we're on. So this is episode number 3, but I'll give you my final results and like a percentage point at the very end. So with that being said, let's jump into it. So first up, we're just going to go over a few facts here. So first fact, Cuphead is an indie game that is published and developed by Studio MDHR. All right. Now, it was first released on the Xbox One back in 2017. So that's where, I believe it was like some sort of exclusive deal. That's why it was on the Xbox One. Now, some people have said that it is published, or it's the publishing rights, Microsoft owns that, but I didn't see that. I know I've heard that quite a bit, but I was looking it up on the wiki page, and I didn't see that. So, if that's true, and I know Microsoft is behind the reason Cuphead is coming to the Switch, and I'll talk about that in just a second, but so it is more of an indie game than it is Microsoft game. So Microsoft doesn't own it. I guess they just have something to do with the publishing rights. So I just want to straighten that out. But let's move on. Fact number 2. So like I was just saying, Microsoft is responsible for getting, or has a hand in it, for getting Cuphead, the game, to come over to the Switch, which is awesome because Nintendo and Microsoft are being pretty friendly, pretty buddy a lot lately, and I could see this happening, but first, so Cuphead does have the port coming to the Switch. I believe it's in April, right? April 2019, and again, Microsoft helped make that happen. So, and again, this wasn't just something that was like, oh, spur of the moment. By the way, we're going to bring Cuphead to the Switch. Nah, this has been like months in the making. They had to have the time to put resources into this game and then port it over to the Switch. And, Microsoft has to, I guess, if they had to sign off on it or something like that. So I think it's pretty interesting, interesting in a good way because, these two big companies, even Studio MDHR, they're all working together to get this game, which is a fantastic game, by the way. If you haven't played Cuphead and you own a Nintendo Switch and you're kind of on the fence about it, I say go ahead, pick it up. This is actually a pretty fun game. So what kind of game is Cuphead? Well, Cuphead is, it's based on the 1930s kind of like cartoon, like animation style. So it's he's got his own sort of, I guess you could say, is like unique little flavor to him. He's got his own, just has his own style. And that's always good when you're talking about Smash Bros, right? If you can bring something unique to the table, for whatever character, whoever you might be, whatever the background is, if you can bring something unique and somewhat different, I'm all for it, first of all, because, again, it's always we have too many sword users, right? I get you can do different things with sword. I'm not saying Cuphead's a sword user by any means, but I'm just using that as an argument. Some people do say that, you got too many of this, too many of that, too many of whatever. Cuphead is kind of his own sort of style, which is awesome. He's like a run and gun sort of game, so he's like a gunslinger, if you want to put it like that. And I'll jump into his moveset in a few pictures here. But moving on, the game's plot has Cuphead, pretty much the main character, and Mugman, player 2, the bluer guy. It's like, I think it's his brother, if I'm not mistaken. But oopsies. But they take on very challenging boss fights, pretty much throughout the entirety of their game as a way to kind of repay their debt to the devil. So if you're somebody who loves challenging games and just boss fights in general, this is actually a really good game to pick up and try and play and just have a lot of fun with. So if you're not into that sort of stuff, this is not going to be the game for you. There's rage compilations all over YouTube, all over the internet, of people getting really upset with this game because, let me tell you, it is a difficult game. it is difficult in different areas. Sometimes you got to really have patience with some of the boss fights. Maybe not some, maybe most of the boss fights. You really have to have a lot of patience. You can't just, go all gung-ho in there and be like, all right, I'm just going to do whatever I need to. I'm just going to go Rambo mode. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You gotta have a little patience and a little strategy and stuff. So, this is a fun game. Kind of got his own style, like I was saying. Good stuff for him. But let's move on here. So, major factors when a lot of people talk about characters. Do they have a moveset? Are they popular? Are they relevant? I think those are three really big things, right? And honestly, I think I can check all three boxes for Cuphead in this situation. Is he popular? Yeah. His game has sold over 3 million copies to date, and now with it coming out on the Switch, I'm sure it's going to sell quite a bit more, honestly. This is like a really good game to have on the Nintendo Switch, first of all. It's got the cartoonish sort of style, and I think it just kind of fits. Everything just kind of like flows together. It's a really good match. I guess that's what I'm saying. So popular, check that box. Yes. Moveset, like I was saying, he's a running gun sort of style, and I think the next thing I'm going to talk about is how his moveset could potentially work. So moveset, yes, pretty simple and pretty unique, I think, but that's my opinion. And then relevant, yes, his game came out in 2017, and he does have the port coming to the Switch, so yeah, he's relevant. Check. After the Nintendo Direct with the Nindies Direct, whatever you want to call it, was that a couple weeks ago? That was pretty much the main thing people took away and that we're talking about, that Nindies Direct. So yeah, he's popular. He's relevant. He's got a really cool moveset. So let me talk about the moveset, right? So the moveset would be pretty cool. So in the run and gun sort of style for his game, he shoots like finger bullets. So they're not real bullets. You can, get around that fact if you're like, real bullets, no, they don't belong in here. I'm in that boat, I'm not. No realistic sort of stuff that it just doesn't fit with Smash Bros. So finger bullets, easy to incorporate, gets around the potential realness of the factor, whatever. But moving on. So it can consist of things such as finger bullets, like I was saying. You can charge up the finger bullets, and you can kind of have them go, maybe, So first of all, charge it up, So charge it up, and it does more damage, the longer you might charge it up, something like that. Kind of think of Mega Man's, I think, side smash. Think of that kind of in that aspect. That's how that would kind of work. He's also, in his game, he flies around in this aeroplane, and you could do a lot of stuff with the airplane. So first of all, you could have it for his recovery move. You could actually kind of control it to get back on stage. You could have it kind of be maybe a side special sort of move, or you maybe just kind of take the airplane and just fly forward or something like that. You could the aeroplanes have couple other things. Which one is it? It's called a chomper missile, and what it does is it shoots out this chomper missile, and it actually starts off slow, like a slow projectile, and then picks up speed. So in a way, think of Samus's side special. She shoots her little missile, and sometimes it just starts. Sometimes she's got two different ones, but sometimes it starts off like slow. She fires it, and takes off. So something like that for a chomper missile, but this missile also has something else kind of going for it, where, chomping motion, biting down, something like that. Could also do some pretty cool damage, pretty unique aspect to a projectile, actually. Would be really cool to see. So, let's see what else. You could do typical punches and kicks, obviously. Another really cool thing, you could shoot like a stream of like liquid from his head, because, he's a cup, right? He's got liquid in his, so shoot off like a steaming pile, what? No, steaming, like hot liquid, from his head. You can, I don't know, maybe, I guess steam, you can maybe use it to somehow, like a stun sort of effect, something like that. I don't know, but you can shoot water from his head, basically. That'd be kind of cool. Going back to the finger bullets, you can shoot them like for like up air, down air, something like that. You could have them like go in different directions. You could shoot up maybe like 3 different ones, so like straight up diagonal and then down diagonal. Something like that would be pretty cool. For air attack. So he's got quite a bit of stuff you can incorporate. Again, you can make use of the finger bullets in many different ways, and you could probably make use of the aeroplane in quite a few different ways as well. So moveset, easy to do. All right, let's move on to fact number 6. Now, I said this at the beginning, Microsoft doesn't own this character, but they do have a hand in it to like what happens with the character, I guess. So they got publishing rights, right? But while most people do consider Cuphead a Microsoft, even though it's not true, but a little bit, he's not a Microsoft character, but for argument's sake, because you can kind of go both ways. So if you consider him a Microsoft rep, first of all, right? If you consider him a Microsoft rep, he has to contend with other characters from Microsoft for potentially being in the DLC, the Fighter Pass, right? You got to contend with Banjo, got to contend with Steve, possibly Conker, maybe even Master Chief. There's a lot of really big names from the Microsoft sort of thing, from the Microsoft side of things that would make way more sense before Cuphead would get in. And if you want to look at it, and I'm pretty sure I look at him, he's an indie character. That's pretty much what he is. But if you want to look at it from the indie side of things, there's definitely other indie characters that would make way more sense before Cuphead. Shovel Knight, yes, I know he's an assist trophy, but Shovel Knight would have made more sense. Shantae, yes, I know she's a spirit. She'd make a little bit more sense than Cuphead. Sans from Undertale, maybe Frisk from Undertale. There's quite a bit of, nindies or, indie characters that would potentially, I guess, be ahead of Cuphead in the I guess the ultimate line of things. Cuphead, as of right now, he's not on Nintendo console because it could end up getting canceled for whatever. Fingers crossed it doesn't. But he's not on Nintendo console yet. His game comes out a little bit later down the road. Like next month or actually, what's the date? 3/31. All right, so yeah, next month, like tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, but sometime in April. So, he hasn't been on a Nintendo console before. Some people might say he's pretty new and maybe hasn't quite earned that spot yet. So if you're contending with other characters, like either the indie characters or any of the Microsoft characters, however you want to kind of view Cuphead, whatever, do you view him as an indie or do you view him as a Microsoft rep? There's a lot that he's contending with. So honestly, I think, my opinion, he'd make a really unique and really cool character. I would think a lot of people would have fun with this guy. And you could also do for alternate costumes. I didn't make anything on this, but for alternate costumes, you could have four costumes for Cuphead, and then you could do Mugman for another 4. So kind of getting Mugman in there as well, which would be pretty cool. But yeah. Overall, I think Cuphead would make a great character. I just don't think his chances are that great. And for me, my final result, I'm putting it at, I'm only giving him 20%. That might still be a little high. I think. But yeah, I think just the fact that he has so many other characters that he's got to contend with, first of all, that's just a huge point for me. I don't know. I can't get around that. That's I don't know. That's the big factor that deters me from this character. But yeah, I am a fan of Cuphead. If he got in, I'd be really happy, honestly. Like I said, I think he brings a lot to the table, but he's just contending with too many, big names and potential, other characters that probably deserve it way more than Cuphead does. So, yeah, my final result, 20%. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you think Cuphead, with the recent announcement of, him coming to the Switch, do you think he's got a much higher chance? Do you think he's a lower chance? Do you think right around what I'm thinking? Whatever. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. That's pretty much, that's what the comment section is for. Give me your opinions. But, yeah, that is it for this one. We will have another Do They Have a Chance series sometime next weekend, Saturday or Sunday. Probably Sundays is what I'm going to aim for. But, yeah, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully we catch you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.